Hello, and welcome to another episode of Glitter and Robes, the only podcast that meets at the intersection of drag and wrestling. I am Chanel,
And I am Roy.
and we are Glitter and Robes. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on all social medias: Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast,
TikTok.
TikTok, Threads.
All of them.
Yes, all the social medias.
This episode is brought to you by Eyelicious for all of your needs in fashion, makeup, and beyond.
And beyond. So, what's eyelicious in your world?
Well, I was going to let you go first as far as this goes because things have changed as we are supposed to have went to AEW Double or Nothing on May the 26th.
Yeah, Sunday.
Yeah. So what's Eyelicious?
What's eyelicious in my world is the fantastic and phenomenal Jinx Monsoon, drag queen of queens, was on one of my favorite shows, Doctor Who. They played Maestro. Their notation is Maestro, neither he nor she, just Maestro. And that's what's eyelicious in my world. I was very excited for my nerdy side to meet with my drag side. So that's what's eyelicious to me was Jinx being on Doctor Who. Doctor Who's one of my favorite shows.
And speaking of that, our 4-year-old enjoyed that episode.
Yes, our 4 year old is super into the new Doctor, as am I. Um, and he was very excited to see that episode. He's really into music, so that one being all about music was really right up his alley. And I feel like this doctor actually does a lot more with music in each episode, so I think that's part of what has him a lot more interested in Doctor Who than he has been in the past. Also, he's almost 5. So that's also probably why he's more into it than he was, when he was 3, which is when the last season of Doctor Who was out, because it takes them forever to get to new seasons.
You also made a TARDIS when he was born. So he's had a TARDIS his whole life.
Yeah,
And I'm
he
thinking now, with him almost being 5, because we have watched Doctor Who for a while, it has now caught his attention.
yeah, the TARDIS is something that he's seen his whole life. I had pictures in his nursery of the like watercolor paintings of the TARDIS. And when he was 2, actually, I was going to school for art, and I had to make a 3D sculpture out of cardboard. So I made a TARDIS for him to play in because it had to be structurally sound, and you had to be able to, like, it had to bear weight. So I made him like a little play TARDIS to play in, and he kept that for probably up until right before we moved to Vegas.
Yeah, yeah. In my world, as I mentioned earlier, we were supposed to went to AEW, All Elite Wrestling, Double or Nothing here in Las Vegas. All Elite Wrestling is a competitor kind of to the WWE. They do professional wrestling. They are on network. Well, not network. What do you call it? TBS, TNT. They are on.
That's network
Is
television,
that
isn't it?
network
Cable
television?
television?
They are on cable television. They're not an independent promotion. They have a billionaire owner. But we didn't go to that because we had to go to a Chinese wedding, and everyone was dressed to the tens. And I later learned we were the weirdos, Mister, as we sat at a table with. Well, I guess everyone there could have been weirdos, but the table we was at was the friends table, and all the friends were weirdos, and we had puppets and a puppet show, and the people whose wedding it was are part of a group called Fur and Thunder. So,
Yes,
and
they do.
I liked the suits and stuff that they wore. So that was eyelicious, and Then you all went to Magic Mike while me and our child came home, and he had thought you all was going to Drag Race Live. And when I told him that's not what you all was going to, he said that was a bad decision not to go to Drag Race Live.
Yeah, he really likes drag queens as we do. Um, we did go see Magic Mike. That was a really good show. I have been to two shows now on the Vegas Strip, and Magic Mike was very much like the new Magic Mike movie that came out last year, Magic Mike Last Dance. It was the show that Magic Mike creates in the movie. Um, and so it was a lot of fun. And the puppet improv group, Fur and Thunder, has showings at Mom's Basement here in Las Vegas. They're really great. Check them out. They have shows twice a month, the first and third Sundays, I believe, of every month. They have a show at Mom's Basement in Las Vegas. And yeah, it was a great wedding. We had a lot of fun. We,
Tons of food.
yes, we ate so much food.
I
And
would have liked to have went to Magic Mike because who doesn't want to see that? But
yeah, it's not an all ages show. So since our 4-year-old couldn't go and I've known our friends longer, I got to go to that part of the wedding celebration. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
well, it's only fair that you go if you meet them in China and I meet them when we move to Las Vegas.
Yes, I've known them for many years now. So, but yeah, that was Eilish's. Also, I wanted to say that we will be starting a new show within a show called Spoilers. Um, in this show, we will talk about things like RuPaul's Drag Race All Stars 9 as it unfolds. So it will be
Weekly.
a weekly show. And we will also discuss other shows that we are currently watching during that mini show.
Because we do watch other things besides Drag Race and wrestling. We watch more Drag Race than wrestling. Uh, but there's other things that we can cover.
Yes.
That does,
So we
and so
will.
we'd rather give y'all more diversity and more product to listen to.
Yes, because who doesn't want to listen to us talk for lots and lots and lots of time? Do you have anything else to add
Yeah,
for Eilish's?
yes, I do. To help us transition to the next one. While you mentioned Jinx Monsoon as Maestro on Doctor Who, which did an amazing job, I hope the Maestro returns.
I'm sure the
I,
maestro will return.
and we will discuss this in spoilers. And while Jinx played Maestro, we do drag queen or wrestler, and there is a wrestler, was a wrestler, known as the Maestro. They were also Gorgeous George III. Gorgeous George is a professional wrestler from the 50s who basically created all the pomp and circumstance that the feathers, the robes, the music. Gorgeous George III was the grandson. They played the Maestro in WCW in 2000. So,
Yes, there's a drag queen maestro.
Jinx Monsoon did it better.
Well, yes, Jinx had the wardrobe for sure. That they just weren't doing back in, what was that, the 80s?
No, that was 2000.
Oh, 2000.
Yeah,
Okay.
2000.
Back, well, I don't know why he didn't have it in 2000. 2000 was, 2000 Space Odyssey. Everything was metallic and
It
holographic. And
was.
I remember having jeans that were very, like, reflective
It
of
was
light.
less than a year before they went out of business.
Okay.
Ted
'Cause
Turner wasn't going to spend, well, the AOL Time Warner wasn't going to spend any more money.
yeah, everything was like a Lisa Frank fever dream by 2000 mixed with like space. So I feel like he definitely could have dragged it up by 2000. But if you ain't got the budget, I get it.
You have the budget, you done lost all the money. So, drag queen or wrestler? Medea.
Drag queen.
I my favorite Medea movie, and then is Meet the Browns, which is
I
why I chose Medea while watching Meet the Browns because Mr. Brown is incredible. I mean, Medea is funny as well, but Mr. Brown just adds to the craziness.
I really like watching Family Funeral. I guess because I've seen it probably the least, but it's really funny and there's just so much happening with the dad dying, with the wife's best friend. I won't go into it because, we can talk about
Spoilers.
these things for spoilers. Jeremy Carey.
Drag queen.
Yes. Well, former drag queen, also known as Fifi O'Hara.
Okay.
They are now just known as an artist, a makeup artist,
As
and
okay.
do all those things.
So no longer Fifi O'Hara,
No, they now go by Jeremy Carey.
like when Mo Hart became Mo Hart in UK All Stars.
Yes.
Okay. Baby doll.
Wrestler?
Yes.
Biliana Reyes.
I'm gonna say drag queen sounds could also be a luchador. See, this is why drag queen or wrestler. I'm going with drag queen.
Wrestler.
Should have went with luchador. Probably not a luchador,
No,
but okay.
there's a theme to my drag queen or wrestler picks.
Nikki Doll.
Drag queen.
Yeah, no relation to Baby Doll as far as I know. Baby Doll is from the 80s.
Anitra.
Drag queen.
Correct.
I was thinking for a minute. It, what was the name of the model that was the judge? Was that Anita?
She was a singer.
Oh yeah, she's a
And
singer. I thought
yes,
she was
her
a
name
model.
is Anita.
Yeah, okay. See, sometimes when you're high, you get confused by things. I
I
have this system. I work people out eventually. Sometimes people are three people, and then I get it down to one. Chanel goes through this all the time with me.
Yeah, something to do with ADHD or something. All of my choices were Asian American, Pacific Islander, or Native Hawaiian descent. So, May is Asian American, Pacific Islander, Native Hawaiian Heritage Month. So I wanted to choose drag queens and wrestlers that represented, or drag artists and wrestlers that represented AAPINH Heritage Month.
And I guess not that we hadn't planned this because we didn't. Since we may not get around to it, we might as well mention Giselle Shaw, who we are familiar with as Princess Azteca on WoW. They are in TNA, who is also not really a competitor, but also another wrestling promotion in which they announced their women's champion will wrestle the NXT's women's champion. But Giselle Shaw is from the Philippines, and they are a trans person. And they got better when we first saw them on WoW. We was like, why? And then when they was allowed to be themselves, they became better.
I really like Giselle Shaw. Giselle Shaw.
Yes, I've watched more matches of Giselle Shaw than Chanel. as she's learned that WWE's sports entertainment way is a better way than these companies with lesser money.
which we can get into in our final segment called Glitter and Robes. So, last episode, we talked briefly about Willow and Mercedes having a match this month. Roy also mentioned it at the beginning of this episode. Um, AEW, what was it called again?
Double or Nothing.
Double or Nothing. Willow Nightingale, who we love, wrestled Mercedes Monet, who we love, and spoiler, Mercedes won the title. She is now the TBS Women's Champion. Um, and I'm excited for her. She's in her CEO era. She really has had this trajectory, and even though she has changed names from one company to the next, well, from WWE to AEW, I should say, there was she was in New Japan before she went to AEW, but she got to keep her name, Mercedes Monet. So, uh, in WWE, she was the boss
Sasha Banks.
as Sasha Banks.
Snoop Dogg's cousin. She's legendary wrestler.
She is Snoop Dogg's cousin in real life. That is not part of her gimmick.
Yes.
Her name in WWE was Sasha Banks. But she was the legit boss, and the boss was with the dollar signs. Now her name is Mercedes Monet. She did a lot of stuff with money when she was in New Japan, and now she's the CEO. So I feel like her gimmicks have really followed this story arc, and I really like that even though she's gone from Sasha Banks to Mercedes Monet, her personality has stayed the same and her storyline has continued.
I agree. And we only knew her as Sasha and Mercedes, so we don't know her before on the independent circuits. We don't know what Mercedes KB
Was that her
gimmick
name?
was, yes. But Sasha's legendary, and we got Willow versus Sasha, and sadly one of them had to lose. The right one lost, nothing against Willow. Mercedes is a legend, but she's still in her prime. So Willow's going to have to, you know, get better to beat a legend. You don't step into the ring with a legend and then win the first time if you're not ready. And Willow won the first time, actually, so I guess you don't win in the second time.
Willow won the first time because Mercedes got hurt.
And Mercedes was supposed to win that match.
She was, but she got hurt during the match, and so Willow won. And so this was their rematch. All this time later, really, they've had this rivalry ever since Willow took the title from Mercedes.
Mercedes has had, what, 3 or 4 matches in the last 2 years when her and Naomi had to walk out of WWE.
Yeah, she's not
But
wrestled a whole lot.
But as a
But
legend, she's stayed relevant the last 2 years.
yeah, I've seen her on all of my social medias more than any other wrestler I think that I follow. She's everywhere. She's doing everything. She was in The Mandalorian. And the only part that I'm disappointed with her winning the title, that means that she's probably not going to be in any new episodes of The Mandalorian anytime soon. But, I mean, she could have filmed it already. I don't know how
Maybe
their
she'll
filming
be in
schedule
more
works.
now that she doesn't work for WWE and she's
That's
her own
true.
boss.
She has more time. She is the CEO of her life. Um, Athena still has the ROH title. She was injured on the 16th of May with an ankle injury, but it is reported that she should be returning soon to the ROH stage for AEW.
She's still champion for more than 500 days.
Yes.
ROH is Ring of Honor, it was also another wrestling company. It is now owned by the same billionaire that owns AEW, because when he basically started AEW, most of the ROH talent went there, and I want to see Ember against Sasha. Or no, sorry, I want to see Athena against Mercedes.
Yes, Ember. She used to go by Ember. Athena used to go by Ember Moon when she was with the WWE. So sometimes we will refer to these wrestlers by their previous ring names. Um, and the thing about it is, there seems to be a lot of trading back and forth between AEW and WWE because they are the two largest um, mixed gendered companies that's doing professional wrestling. They do two different styles of professional wrestling. WWE is more sports entertainment, but they share the talent. They seem to have talent that goes from one to the other, and so sometimes we will refer to people by their previous ring name, but if they ever go back to that company, they will go back to that ring name because for WWE, they typically own all rights to those names.
And there was a moment where they was letting people come with the names they have, like AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, and the way I've worked around this is Naomi and Trinity are the same person. Trinity Fatu and Naomi are the same person. So if I say Trinity or Naomi, I'm either referring to them as the singular or what's now known as the Trinity of Naomi, Bianca, and Jade.
Yes, they are known as the Holy Trinity. Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, and Naomi are the Holy Trinity. They all did really well in the draft that WWE held. Um, there were two nights, correct,
Yeah,
of the
and
draft.
internet, but 2 nights,
Yeah, so
Raw
that
and SmackDown.
yes, and some of the draft picks were people who had been placed on Raw, NXT, or SmackDown previously. As early as January, really, and they were announced at the draft. They didn't move from where they've been since January. But anyway, draft night one, round one, the first overall draft pick was Bianca Belair to SmackDown, which was really awesome because she is the number one pick
Which
for me.
which tells me that means she is the top of the company. Overall top. Men or women.
Yeah, she
I don't
was.
think well no, champions weren't eligible to be drafted, and there's issues as to why Bianca and Naomi don't have a women's world title.
Yeah, we've talked about that at nauseum
But Bianca
because
Belair
they
was the
deserve.
number one overall first round pick because she is also a legend, greatest of all time.
Really is the EST of all things. Um, Also, in the first round of the first night was Jay Uso to Raw and Carmelo Hayes to SmackDown. Like I said before, he's been working SmackDown for a while now, but he was announced in the first round of the draft of night one. Also, I want to mention round three of night one, where we saw Ricochet get drafted to Raw, and the rest of the Bloodline was drafted to SmackDown. Of course, the Bloodline is looking a little thin these days since the Usos are no longer part of, well, Jay and Jimmy, sorry, the twins are no longer part of the Bloodline, with Solo Sokoa leading
These
the
are all real
charge.
life cousins of the Rock's family
Yes, they are all related to The Rock. Very handsome gentleman.
because everyone knows the Rock. People, if they don't know Roman Reigns, he is going to blow up even bigger than he is outside of the wrestling world.
Yes, which we will talk about this in spoilers, but he has some movies coming up that I'm very excited to watch.
But they have so many cousins, and still Jacob Fatu is not a part of this bloodline yet.
Jacob Fatu will be coming soon, but that has nothing to do with the draft. Night two, we saw Jade go in the first round to SmackDown, and in round four, Naomi, which I'm very disappointed that she was so far down, especially since it does not matter how long it's been since Naomi has walked out in an arena. The arena erupts like it's the next coming of Jesus. They go off for her. I go off for her, just in my house. But like everybody be on their feet, everybody be getting their glow sticks out, they be doing her song. They love some Naomi. So why she was night two, why she was round four, I don't know. But she was drafted.
Sometimes it feels to me like she's still being punished for leaving, even though it's under different ownership. But I've claimed she's been undervalued for a long, long time. As you say, Bianca's number one, I say Naomi's number one. It's the same thing. It's the Holy Trinity.
It is. It really is. I feel like I have gotten to see Bianca, and that's part of the reason why she's number one for me, is because one, I've met her. Two, she was still with the company. So when we got stuck going to SmackDown, sorry, when we got stuck going to SummerSlam in 22, she was who I was there to see. She was the only one left that was there to see. So, I have a loyalty to her because I've gotten to see more of her matches.
We
Well,
could have left after that first match. She was the opening match.
yeah, so, we stayed because our tickets were very expensive thanks to some resale bots. But, so that's why she's number one for me, because she has stuck around. And I've just gotten to see her more and watch her perform more. And I got to meet her, and she was really nice. I'm sure Naomi is great too, but.
And they just had the King and Queen of the Ring pay per view tournament. But at Backlash, Naomi, one of the largest crowd reactions. France, all the crowd reactions. But Naomi got the loudest, I felt. Bianca and Jade also got a loud reaction. Whatever the production is doing now is amazing. I'd love to see the 80s and 90s guys come out to this kind of production. It would be so much hotter
I feel
than how it
like,
was then. Jade and Bianca's reaction and the way they look. They won the tag titles, by the way, at
yes.
Backlash.
So Backlash was in France. Um, it was a premium live event. We call them pay per views because we're old people, but that's fine. But WWE has coined the term premium live event, which just means pay per view. And that's generally where we watch most of our wrestling anymore, because most of wrestling is on network or cable television, and as poors we only have streaming services. And even though we do pay for Paramount Plus,
We do
we
pay for Peacock and
we
Hulu.
do pay for Peacock and Hulu, yes, and Disney. But even though we pay for Paramount Plus, you don't get the weekly shows updated in the same way. So it's very difficult for us to watch and keep up with it weekly with all the shows that are happening. But we do always watch the premium live events,
And
aka
life.
the pay per views.
Life happens.
Yes, because we have a 4-year-old, as we've mentioned many times.
In Las Vegas, whatever daytime day shift is in the rest of the world is different in Las Vegas.
Yeah,
I'm not for sure if I work the graveyard, the first shift, or the night shift. It's all the
honestly,
same time, but Las Vegas has different hours.
when I work mornings at the library, I am on the road with no one. And it's such a peaceful time. And I get off of work at like 1:30 in the afternoon, And that's when Vegas is just waking up. That's when most people are getting ready to go to work because, Vegas is a nighttime city. So most things are a lot more active in the evening. When I work the evening at the library, it's insane getting to work, it's insane getting home. Everybody's out. You never know what you're going to encounter. We don't go to the strip hardly ever, but for me to get to work, I have to go past the strip. So, I'm always sitting in traffic with lots of people who are here for a good time, not a long time, and don't know where they're going ever. Um, so yeah, so life gets in the way, and we don't really get to watch the shows weekly, but we do watch the pay-per-views. And Backlash was a pay-per-view in France. Um, Naomi was huge in France. AJ Styles was huge in France.
Naomi sadly lost in the world title match.
She did. Bianca and Jade won the tag team titles, which was very exciting because they deserve.
From Asuka and Kairi Sane,
Yes.
who are two Japanese ladies who are legends in Japan, and Asuka's a
Legends.
legend in America, and
Yeah.
Kairi is. I don't know where her standing is in America, but she's up there. She's behind Io, and Asuka is the thing.
I
Io is also a legendary Japanese. All these women that we speak of are legendary and the greatest of what they do. Period.
I've heard of Kari Zane. So I feel like if I've heard of them, then they're probably a pretty decent wrestler. The name was familiar to me before I watched her matches. So, yeah, she's crazy, and Io's crazy, and Asuka's crazy. And I do love watching them. And I'm usually rooting for them, but not when they're going against any part of the Holy Trinity,
And
obviously.
all these people have the greatest costume of all time. Every time they
They
are like,
do.
we did that last month. This is a different month, and probably weekly. But like we said, we don't watch weekly.
Yeah, I know Bianca has a new outfit for every episode of anything she's ever done. And she hand makes them all herself, which is incredible. And I hope, beyond hope, that my future in drag has some Bianca level sewing skills in it because her costume creation is crazy, her imagination is amazing, and she just does wonderful things.
If
She's always outrageous.
if Bianca hasn't met Asia or vice versa,
Yes,
they need to.
I think that they could create some Asia O'Hara, by the way. I think that they could create some fantastic outfits because we know that the dolls can sew.
I would wear whatever they make. And we also learned during the Hulu show with Bianca and Montez Ford
Hmm.
that she does his outfits and his partner's outfits as well.
Sometimes
She stays busy.
she does. I don't believe that he always has her do his outfits because now that they are part of the Pride, um, they tend to wear the outfits that everybody else is wearing. So I think that they probably have the
Yeah, you gotta get with Bobby Lashley,
yeah. Bobby Lashley is the leader of the Pride. Montez Ford and Dawkins are part of the Pride with Bobby Lashley now
and B-Fab.
and BFAB. Yes,
And Bobby Lashley, not up there with the likes of Booker T and R-Truth, but he hasn't been around as long as they have, so
he should have titles, but
I say all the time, Bobby has a title he never lost. Where is Bobby's title?
yes,
I don't remember a rematch for him getting the title that he never lost to start with.
which
Bobby
happened.
is this big bad dude who you don't want to get into a real fight with, and he's so awesome and great. And putting him with the Street Profits, you know, we had to see them beat Karrion Cross at WrestleMania because Karrion can't beat those guys.
I don't know
And we love
anybody.
Karrion, but who beats Bobby is what I
Yeah, I was
always
gonna
ask.
say I don't know anybody who should be beating Bobby Lashley.
If you haven't seen Bobby Lashley, Google him and then you'll be like, yeah, who beats Bobby Lashley?
There was also Queen of the Ring. Well, it's King and Queen of the Ring, but I just call it Queen of the Ring. This is the first year that they've had Queen of the Ring as part of the show. And it's usually just called King of the Ring, but this year it was called King and Queen of the Ring. I'm just calling it Queen of the Ring. It was in Saudi Arabia, who is now a partner with the WWE. They go there twice a year.
UFC goes there. I don't know how often,
The
but more than
owner,
twice, I think.
the new owner of WWE, is also the owner of UFC. So they have a partnership where UFC goes over there. So now WWE goes over there more often. They've always gone at least once a year. Now it's twice a year. Um, and unfortunately, during Queen of the Ring, the Holy Trinity lost one by one to Nia Jax, who was crowned Queen of the Ring, and Gunther was crowned King of the Ring, um, and everybody lost to him as well. It was underwhelming for me because my faves didn't win. So, if my faves ain't winning, then I ain't here for it.
Going to be honest with you, Bianca was drafted number one overall to SmackDown. SmackDown won the draft overall. There's few people. There's not really a reason for us to really watch Raw if we were going to.
Yeah, everybody we watch just about is in SmackDown.
So we didn't watch this premium live event in Saudi Arabia, but we did watch Bianca and Jade defend the titles against Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell.
do they have a name, a team name?
Who, Candice and Indy?
Yeah.
No, because
They used to be part of The Way with Johnny Gargano
Candice LeRae's real life husband.
and Austin Theory.
I love Austin Theory.
When they were in NXT, and then Johnny wasn't re-signed, and he went off to wrestle for a different promotion.
No, Johnny didn't re-sign with anybody.
Okay,
Candice
so
had a baby, and then him. I mean,
they took a break.
Yeah, they took a break
from wrestling, and I guess life gets in the way. And then Austin was drafted, and Indy was left at NXT to battle another day by herself, and she was in NXT until they came back, and now they're all on SmackDown. And so
Indy's wedding. By the way, Indy Hartwell is a wrestler. Obviously, sorry. This is what happens when life gets in the way and you're high at 3 in the morning doing this. But Indy's wedding to Dexter Lumis, they was known as Index in NXT.
Yes.
As part of the Way storyline. Her wedding was the night that NXT ended, and they broke it and called it NXT 2.0. Beth Phoenix oversaw, what do you call that? She was the
she
preacher.
Presided,
whatever, go ahead.
She presided over the wedding, and that was her last episode. Sad day for us all. I mean, we were very happy for the wedding of Indy Hartwell to Dexter Lumis because it was super cute, their love and their story arc.
It's a wrestling wedding, not a real wedding. He's an axe murderer.
Yes, he plays an axe murderer on TV. Obviously,
it was great.
Dexter is where that goes. And actually, I hear that he might be part of Uncle Howdy's bunch. When Uncle Howdy gets brought back, he is a character from WWE past. We can get into that whenever that does happen. But I was just happy to see that Dexter's still around because he is never at the premium live events that we watch. So
they said it's been a year since he's been on TV.
Okay, good. Yeah, I was gonna say I haven't seen him, so that makes sense.
There could be missing bodies. Oh.
But yeah, so he's a macabre character.
I'm not for that because all of the Way are on SmackDown and not together.
Yeah, I don't understand why they have all the ingredients to make something delicious, but they won't put them in the pot and mix it up together. Like, get it together, WWE. But I will say, WWE has made great strides in making wrestling the way I want to see it. So, I'm thinking now that Triple H and The Rock are doing their things, that it's going to get even better as it has been, and we will hopefully see the way reunited. But
And Indy Hartwell is so pretty. I've said this all the time. She's so pretty. And she's also part of the queer community as she posts pictures of her girlfriend on Instagram all the time.
she does. I think
And
I've sent.
sometimes they're with her wrestling husband Dexter before he disappeared. Maybe to murder people in the Canadian woods.
I don't know what
I don't know.
WWE's storyline is. I'm not even going to guess.
They did let Cameron Grimes go in this time. We were first introduced to Dexter Loomis in a House of Horrors match with Cameron.
Yeah, I really like Cameron Grimes. It was really sad when they let him go.
So the only thing we watched of this Saudi Arabia is Bianca and Jade defending the titles against Candice and Indy. Bianca and Jade won. They looked incredible.
They
Pink,
did a
silver.
video game move called the Cyclone
Suplex.
Suplex, which was insane. And
I had never
because
seen it outside of a video game. Have you seen it outside of a video game?
no, I only when they've done it.
I seen it just when they did it in
Yeah,
real life.
I because I see so many things online. I don't know if I've seen them do it in a match before or if I've just seen replays on everyone's Instagram of them doing it in Saudi Arabia. I'm not quite sure, but I've seen them do it a couple of times. Probably the same time over and over again, actually.
So would you like to tell how Nia defeated the Holy Trinity in this Queen of the Ring tournament?
So she destroyed Bianca's knee.
Candice and Indy destroyed
No,
Bianca's
sorry,
knee.
yeah, Candice and did they
No, yes, Candice and Indy
in the first
in
round
the first round.
of the Queen of the
Nia beat
Ring,
Naomi in the first round.
and Nia beat Naomi. And I think it was a disqualification. Like, I don't think that Naomi lost. I think she got disqualified, and I think that's pretty much
Count
the
out,
way.
whatever. Naomi should
Yeah,
never lose if you ask me, but
I think that the way that Nia ended up winning all of them was basically through DQs.
I think
And
she only got a
then
pin in the finals.
when she wrestled Jade, Jade stopped to talk to her daughter in the audience, and Nia Jax got into her daughter's face, and so Jade kicked Nia in the face, because what you don't do is yell at somebody's child. And so then Jade was disqualified.
Yeah, Jade beat the hell out of her.
But, I don't blame her. And then not only did they have Jade and Bianca defend their tag team titles during Queen of the Ring in Saudi Arabia for their pay per view, but they also had her in the same episode.
No, different. It was on SmackDown, but the same night.
The same night.
Like recorded the same night or something.
They had her wrestle for Queen of the Ring. So, the whole match, they're tearing up Bianca's knee in the tag team match, which was already previously injured in, a night before. And then they have her, Nia just tear up Bianca's knee for Queen of the Ring. And so Nia's Queen of the Ring.
Bianca lifted Nia.
She did.
On her shoulders.
And it's not something that is easy to do,
Once
but it's
again,
something that's easy for Bianca to do, because she carried this big old dude named Otis around the arena one
Otis
episode.
is like 400 pounds.
Otis is huge. And she picked that man up and ran around with him on her back like it was nothing. So I know that she can pick up Nia, who does not weigh 400
Nia
pounds.
is also one of The Rock's cousins.
Yes, Nia is one of The
Rock's
cousins.
She's not a small woman.
She is not. She's a Samoan.
She is a Samoan. And Bianca had her up, and I guess her knee gave out. And
that was the end of the end.
There's also, since the last time we was here, we have watched All Stars 4, RuPaul's Drag Race All Stars 4.
Yes,
where
we
Monet and the other Trinity in our life, Trinity the Tuck,
were
won.
twinners.
Twinners.
Yes, that was a
Uh,
good All Stars.
yeah, because, yeah, All Stars 4 was
It's one of my
incredible.
favorite All Star seasons.
You say, how can Monique Hart not win again? This is an All Stars.
Mo Hart.
Mo Hart, sorry, my apologies. We did watch UK versus World.
Was Mo Hart in All Stars 4? Or you mean Monet Exchange?
No, Monique
Okay.
Hart,
Yes.
as
So
they was known in all.
Monique
Sorry, my
had
notes still have it as Monique Hart as I took these before we watched UK versus the World.
yes, Monique Hart now goes by Mo Hart. Um,
Who was
and they
robbed in UK versus the World?
yes, they were robbed in UK versus the World. That is very true. Um, we also watched UK versus the World, RuPaul's Drag Race. We also got to binge watch season 16 of RuPaul's Drag Race. We got Sling or Philo or one of those streaming cable services for a 7-day trial and binge watched the entire season
In
so that we
seven
could,
days.
yes, so that we could get that in because, you know, we've gone back to rewatch these season 1 through 16 because Roy hadn't watched. He started on 14. So he hadn't watched any of these seasons. So we're finally like catching up and then a new season comes out. So we're getting behind. But we were able to finally catch up and watch all of those. Um, and like we said, when new episodes of RuPaul's Drag Race and other things come out, we will be talking about them in our new show within a show
Spoilers.
called Spoilers.
Which is also delicious.
Yes. And it is named after a phrase that River Song from Doctor Who says often because she is a time traveling archaeologist and her timeline is backwards from the Doctor's timeline. They meet up from time to time, and so they have to sync up their diaries. Do you remember when we did this? No, we haven't done that yet. So she's always 12 steps ahead of everyone, so she doesn't want to give anything away, so she often says spoilers. So I thought that would be cute.
Spoilers. River Song is my favorite doctor. You can learn that story in spoilers.
Yes. I think that's all we have for this evening.
Well, I mean, I was really excited that Monet and Trinity won All Stars 4.
I was too. They were twinners.
And Mo Hart, how do you lose? All Stars 4 was a great season. Um, Now, UK versus the World, nothing against anyone. No one brought it like Mo Hart. And as I recall, she did not win a badge or anything. It was in the final two. But
Yes, I felt like UK versus the World season 1, they really wanted it to make it UK versus the world. So they had a UK queen and then they had an American queen who were going head to head in the final. But I don't feel like they should have had the UK queens. I feel like they ran their course pretty early in the season and possibly should have gone home. Obviously, should have gone home way sooner than they did. But it was interesting to see because we hadn't watched any of the other countries of Drag Race. So we don't know, we didn't know the likes of Blue Hydrangea or Bag of Chips
we
and
knew
people like that.
Pangina from going to RuPaul Live.
Yes. I mean, we've learned these people, every month we say happy birthday to queens and wrestlers who are having birthdays, during the month. So we come across drag queens, we come across wrestlers who we haven't had the opportunity to watch yet. So we kind of know them a little bit in passing or we know their names. Blue Hydrangea is one of those people. Pangina was one of those people. We saw her at RuPaul's Drag Race Live here on the Las Vegas Strip. Um, and so we've Wikipedia'd her since then, and then we got to see her on UK versus the World. But, these weren't people that we had come across in our everyday watching of Drag Race, whether on cable or streaming.
And I don't have anything else to add. But if Netflix, Disney, Hulu, Paramount, Peacock, if any of these people want to send us money for mentioning them, I am fine with that.
You're funny. Well, that's our episode of Glitter and Robes. Don't forget to follow us on all social media. You can email us at glitterandrobes@gmail.com. We are streaming on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and occasionally on YouTube when I'm not feeling lazy. Until next time, with
She's never lazy.
I am I am future lazy, which is where I do everything right away so that in the future I'm not mad at myself for not doing it. And, so I can be like, oh, good, I've already done that. So now I can just relax because it's finished instead of being like, ugh, I can't believe I saved this till the last minute.
I'd like to change my eyelashes.
Your eyelashes, what are
Yeah.
you?
Well, we also had our anniversary,
We did. We've been married for 3 years.
in which I received this picture, which is the greatest work of art ever. It is of Chanel. I call it the Golden Goddess of the Galaxy picture. It should be in the Louvre, Smithsonian. But Chanel's eyelashes all the time.
Well, thank you, babe.
You're welcome.
I
love
think that
you.
you are. I love you. I think that you are also eyelicious.
Thank you.
Anyway, that's all for our episode of
Glitter,
Glitter
and
and
Robes.
Robes.